My name is Muhammad Adam Farhan bin Muhammad TARMIZI. My matrix number is 08DEP22F1050. This article is about food crisis from Malay Mail by Zarah Morden that published on Thursday, 2nd June 2022. As rising prices spike in Malaysia, S&P Global warns food crisis could last years, not months. Kuala Lumpur, June 2nd. The food crisis beyond price spikes across the globe is not a short-term phenomenon and will likely continue for years, according to a S&P Global report. In the firm's Ratings Direct report titled, "The Global Food Shock Will Last Years, Not Months," it said the crisis worsened by Russia's invasion of Ukraine will prolong the fertilizer shortages, export controls, global trade disruption, and escalating fuel and transport costs behind rising prices. We believe the shock to food supply will have negative implications for emerging market countries, affecting GDP growth, fiscal performance, and social stability, said S&P Global Ratings Credit analyst Samuel Tillery. Although many of the sovereigns most exposed to this risk already have very low credit ratings, the negative economic or political fallout of the food shock could contribute to rating downgrades, he added.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Mohamed Nizar AZRAI PUTRA bin Mohamed NASRI. My matric number is 08DEP22F1123. What is food crisis? A food crisis happens when rates of hunger and malnutrition rise sharply at local, national, or global level. This definition distinguishes a food crisis from chronic hunger. Although food crises are far more likely among population already suffering from prolonged hunger and malnutrition.
My name is Muhammad NAUFAL bin ZULHAIRY. My matric number is 08DEP22F1051. Based on food crisis statistic diagram, we can see that from 2017 to 2021, the graph keeps increasing each and every year. On 2017, there are about 124 million people who face food crisis. On 2018, there are about 113 people. On 2019, 135 people. 2020, 155 people. On the last year, 2021, there are about 193 people who face such crisis. On average, there are about 144 million people who face such crisis.
Hello, my name is Muhammad AMEERUL FIRDAUS bin Mohamed NASRI. My matric number is 08DEP22F1112. Main factor of food crisis: natural disaster, drought, floods, typhoons, cyclones, and other natural disasters can wipe out an entire harvest or destroy crops. This is devastating, most especially to rural communities and families, who generally rely on such harvests and staple small-scale farming for their daily food. Climate change. Change in climatic patterns have fundamentally affected agriculture. Farmers are experiencing the effects of climate change, as rains are coming in earlier than before, and droughts are lasting longer. Fresh water is also scarcer as a result of rising sea levels, storm surge, cyclones, and other extreme weather events, which are more frequent and intensive. Conflict, violence, and wars. Conflict, wars, and violence impact food production and supplies. In most countries where civil war has been prevalent over the years, food insecurity is very high. Examples are Somalia, and South Sudan in Africa. Other factor is poverty, political pressure, increased consumption of meat and dairy, increased oil and transportation costs, falling world aid, international conflicts, disease, wastage food, and also food getting expensive.
Effect on food crisis. First, effects on children. Children who are food insecure or come from families that are food insecure are more likely to require hospitalization and are at a higher risk of chronic health conditions like anemia and asthma. They also have frequent oral health problems. Food insecurity in children is also related to the poor physical quality of life and prevents them from fully engaging in daily school activities as well as social interaction with their peers. Second is increases in food prices. Food insecurity means there is a shortage of food commodities, making the available food expensive to purchase. This means the prices will go up and result in related items being more expensive. People's access to food, care, feeding, and access to healthcare may also become limited, as a consequence, making the nation more insecure. The third one, food insecurity leads to hunger. Hunger can also result from food insecurity. Hunger costs billions every year, with the US using about 178.9 billion every year. This makes the government spend more on feeding the nation, instead of concentrating such monies to other projects such as infrastructure, healthcare, and education. The last is violent conflict. Despite violence being a cause of food insecurity, the reverse is also true. Food insecurity, especially when caused by a rise in food prices, is a threat and result in violent conflict. It might not be the only cause, but coupled with other factors, for example, in the political or economic spheres, food insecurity could be the factor that determines whether and when violent conflicts erupt.
How to prevent food crisis. So this is the tips to prevent food crisis. So first, we can reduce the food waste to reduce the ongoing food crisis. And then we can produce more food and improve agriculture. We can work towards defeating climate change. We can also improve existing infrastructural programs to make more food. We can also stop war conflict to make the food crisis fade. Government need to control the food price. Like they must check the premise and restaurant to check the price of food. And last point, we can increase the employment opportunities to the community.
For the first value, be responsible. All the parties need to be responsible for dealing with the problem of food crisis, such as reducing food waste.
The second point is being cooperative. We, as a community, we need to be cooperative to overcome this food crisis that has been increasing in these past few years.
So the third value is we need to help each other to reduce the food crisis so that the community can easily get enough food supplies for daily life.
Last but not least, the value that I got is be grateful with what you have. There's a verse in the Quran that said something about be grateful. So in chapter 14, verse 7, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ تأذن ربكم لئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم ولئن كفرتم إن عذابي لشديد. Meaning, and remember, when your Lord announced, indeed, if you are grateful, I will increase favors to you. But if you deny my favors, then surely my punishment will be very severe. So be thankful for what you have. You will end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never ever have enough.
Now, conclusion. Food shortage is a serious problem which influences the relationship between the people, livelihood, social stability, prosperity, and the development around the world. All social behavior or social system will fail to build until solve the problem of food shortage. Thank you.